Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So, welcome. Right off the top, I just want to tell you I love you. Oh my gosh, do I love you. And I love feeling your energy. Honestly, it is one of the best parts of my day is doing these readings because it's like walking into a cathedral, something, right? Or walking into like a beautiful opening in a forest where you can look up and it's just all enclosed. There's like that gorgeous canopy with the sun coming in a little bit, and you just think like, yeah, this is where God is. Yeah, this is where the divine is. Yes, this is where my heart, my mind, my soul is interconnected with everything, right? All of the elements. And so when I get here and I turn on the camera and I'm all ready to go, it is like a rush of energies. And, sometimes it's not like the best energies. I'll just be real. But then there are other times like today where we start with Aquarius in the Hermit energy, and I get to also partake in that energy. Oh, I love it. I am big on the Hermit. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have you here with me. The Hermit carrying the lantern of illumination. This is a person, an energy of maybe in a life cycle where you are kind of leaving the greater collective. Now, this could be like legitimately you're, packing up your stuff and you're moving to a cabin in the woods or some, ashram somewhere, or, running off to join the merry pranksters or something. And it could be that you're staying right where you're at. You're married, you have kids, you are, PTA parent, number one employee at work, and yet you are going into a hermit time. And what does that mean? No, you're not going to like leave the people around you, but you go into self, right? You might start doing more things that are just you, going solo. I myself, because I am a very solitary person, have gifted to me the opportunity to go shopping by myself sometimes now. Now, if you are a mom, you know exactly what I mean, right? It is a gift when you get to that point where your kid is in school, or they're, old enough to be with other siblings, or maybe, thank goodness your co-parent is around that day and they can like sit in the car with the kid, or, keep them home or whatever. But gifting yourself these moments where you can do stuff by yourself, right? Going in, taking a shower, closing the door all the way. So you don't have to be listening to like, what are they roughhousing about in the living room? These kinds of things, people might not always think of them as gifts, but they are. Absolutely they are. So we're coming into that Hermit energy immediately. I see that we have the Emperor or Empress, and we're going to take a closer look to see which one it is. Sitting right here, enthroned, right in the middle. Okay. Another thing I saw, and for whatever reason, this number has been so present in my life, and coming up in readings a lot, which is 31. Okay. If you are somebody that works with numbers, if you are somebody that maybe is into numerology, or I always say this wrong, gematria, I don't know, you know what it is if you can kind of suss out what I said. This is applying number values to letters in different, it depends on like what you use, if it's like Hebrew or Latin or whatever. And 31, what does that mean to you? I'd love to hear. put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. And if you want to send me something longer or more involved, you can email it to ulaishere@gmail.com. I get awesome emails almost daily. I just got a really cool book somebody just finished writing the other day. And when people update me about their lives, there are a few of you who I've known since the beginning of starting this channel, and I've met you through the channel, and I love hearing from you. I love seeing how your lives have progressed, especially, and it's everybody, but also like my fellow diviners, my tarot readers. One of you just sent me an amazing email. I have to get back to you. I don't know if you're listening, but I love you. That email I got was like the happiest thing I've seen in like forever. So if you're listening, you know who you are. I'm so happy to hear about how your life has changed and progressed, and oh my goodness. Also, girl, you look amazing. Let me just say, you look so happy. You look amazing. So anyways, that's just for you if you know who I'm talking about, if you know. So anyways, let's see. We're in that Empress or Emperor energy, and I'm kind of going to go more with the Emperor here because we have that Hermit energy. Here's the thing about the Emperor. And this is maybe, it's kind of, we're looking at this through the paradigm of like a very patriarchal lens, okay? And I absolutely know that about myself. I've been raised in a patriarchal society. I'm learning to undo some of that, right? But sometimes it does come up. And here we have the Emperor, okay? So if we think of within the earthly realm, okay, the Malkuthian sphere, the Emperor is really the head of the kingdom, right? The empire. Probably the one that is making the most overt decisions. That's not to say that women aren't running things behind the scene, right? But the Emperor is one that is a figurehead, is a public face that people can see and cling on to and, trust in. And that's the big thing. Trust in your leader. Now, the Emperor is a powerful archetype, but the Emperor is also a very lonely archetype. The Emperor cannot trust anybody fully but themselves. Everybody around them has agendas because they are a person with power. And the closer you are to somebody with power, the more you perceive that you yourself are eliciting power from that relationship or that dynamic or whatever it is, right? So, to me, I look at this and I feel like, yeah, you are in a place of like, your life is under control, you're doing the dang old thing, you're feeling pretty good about where you have found yourself. You've worked hard, you've put in the time, you continue to do so. Everything you have worked for. Everything that you have accomplished, blood, sweat, tears, straight up. Nothing like winning the lottery, Nepo baby, none of these kinds of things. You were not given a leg up. Right? Or maybe a little bit, maybe your parents helped you go to college or whatever. But I don't feel like this is a situation where you're just like stepping into the role. No, you have had to earn it. Okay? Now, I do feel that there's an emphasis on being alone. Okay? I don't think that this is something that you're sad about. Honestly, I feel like when you spend an extended amount of time really focused on your priorities, your universe, like, getting your house in order the way that you want it, you are in your highest form. Okay? Now, that's not to say that you're not good with people or you shouldn't have relationships or families or anything like that. Of course you should, if that's what you want. But I think that for you, something that you've had to learn about yourself is that you're not super interested in doing things as a team all the time. In fact, you are very much a person that is like a divide and conquer, right? And I feel like when this comes up, especially when we have that hermit energy, it really is like this time where you are leaning into that solitary work, right? You are maybe a person, and not unlike myself, where it doesn't mean that you are like not wanting to have people around and being involved, but it's like if I want to go clean the garage out, for instance, which is my job, right? In the house, it is my job. I know about myself that I'm going to be spending some time going through some stuff, getting rid of things, reorganizing, also cleaning, wiping stuff down, all of that. If you throw other people into the mix while I'm doing this, it will take 3 times longer because I get distracted easily. And I also talk a lot. So if you send me out there all by myself and put me to work, it will get done. And it'll get done a lot faster than if I'm trying to do this and do that. So the alternative is I go clean the garage and you go clean up the toy room, and we'll definitely get this thing done. We'll both be happy. And it's not a disaster. The stress isn't as great. And I think, well, here's the deal. I'm a Aquarius moon. Okay, so I have a lot of that Aquarian, is that the right word? Aquarius, Aquarian, yeah. Now, Aquarian is also, no, I'm thinking of equestrian. Wrong word, Lenor. Yes, Aquarian. I'm definitely like this. I mean, obviously, I'm using myself as an example. So I do feel like for you, lean into this energy. Okay? And if you are in a relationship dynamic that is still being learned and evolving, super important to put this out there plainly. Okay. I don't know what kind of sign you are with or dating or have in your life. It maybe isn't romantic. Maybe it's like your mom, or you live with your teenage kids or whatever. It is so important to say plainly, I just get things done more quickly and with less effort if I do them alone. Not because I don't want to do stuff with you. Not because I don't think we're a great team. It's just the way my mind works. I am learning at 40 years old that sometimes you just have to say things plainly. Not emotionally, not over-explaining, not apologizing, not trying to qualify this, that, or blah, 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 blah. And not omitting either. Right? Or just like not even saying anything. This is what I usually do. I just disappear. I know, it's terrible. Like, we'll all be in the living room. And by the way, can I just say, please send some prayers for my husband, Paul, over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. He is not feeling good. So yeah. And also he has like, I think a post up that he put, or a picture I took of him in bed with the cat, and he just not feeling good. So go over there, give him some love, tell him his wife sent you over, and say some prayers for him. But anyways, sometimes like we'll all be in the living room, hanging out, doing stuff. I might be cooking and getting stuff. I will just like I'll just go to the garage and start cleaning. I don't say anything to anybody. And that's also because I get talking, as you know, I ramble. But also not the best way to do things if you have somebody that's like, like my husband likes me to talk to him. He likes me to talk to him, not just wander off all the time. So, you know, sometimes we just have to say it plainly. It just is what it is. Hey, I'm going to do this by myself because I know it'll take me an extra hour and a half if I don't. Not your fault. Just the way my brain is. Just the way just the way I do things. So I do feel like because we have the Emperor energy, it really is about like stating things as they are. You know, you don't have to be the fool and write a lovely, silly sonnet. You don't have to, be the Hierophant and explain it in a way that is like highly, what's the word? I guess like filled with meaning and reason and symbology, and this is why we're doing this on this day, on the day of Jupiter. We get things in order and bring law back to this house, and the garage shall be spotless. But no, it is what it is. It's the Emperor. Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is on the agenda today, and we're doing it. So I do feel like we're in this energy. We have that Hermit. Now let's go up here. It looks to me like we have some family feuding in the greater family. Now we have two people here. Now it's interesting because this one has the scythe and this one looks like they're running. We have a bird over here, like a duck maybe. Over here we have the number 9. We have, it looks like maybe a witch or a wizard of some kind riding the number 9, which is wonderful. The beloved, in my estimation, is equated to the number 9. And part of my personal work has been inviting that energy back into my life through this equinox, right? And this is very much for me like animus work. Yeah. So anyhow, we seem to have coming to a period of time where there is likely a reason to get together to do some kind of physical work. It doesn't have to be like you're out there, harvesting the crops necessarily, but maybe you have like an older parent that you go over as a family, meet up on a Sunday afternoon and clean mom and dad's yard up for the season, or, something like this. Now, I do feel that there are people within your extended family, and I'm going to take a little drink here, that seem to be arguing quite a bit. I don't think that you are necessarily involved in this argument, but we also have this energy over here, which is a person. You can see they're kind of yelling, but they also look like they're on a skate or a sled or something. And then we have the house over here. Okay, we have the house and we have the same person, it looks like, kind of moving this way. Now, we also have the number 120, and I almost kind of wonder, like, while there is all of this chaos going on, if you don't have, like, maybe another sibling that's kind of the more quiet, maybe, like, in the middle somewhere, they're, the second kid or third kid or whatever, and maybe not as, like, noticed in the things that they do, but I do feel that there's this sense of almost as if they are taking more or taking something that's not theirs. And I'm not saying like they're like robbing a house, right? They're not like robbing your silverware or something like that, but I almost kind of feel like maybe with the parents getting older, they're starting to make plans about who's getting what, or, this kind of thing. And I feel like this person is kind of like putting themselves in a position where they might get more than their fair share of the deal. They also might be a family member that is like, they go in and get all of the antiques from the family, like all of the heirlooms. And, even though they were supposed to go to other people in the family, they end up taking them, kind of thing. And I feel like there's almost this kind of impending turmoil. Now, for you, I don't think that you're somebody that's like overly materialistic or like, too upset that like they got like all the good dishes and the table set and, mom and dad's, I don't know, bedroom set or whatever. They're getting like a lot of the good stuff. And I think for you, it's kind of like, I don't really want to bring anything else into my house, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I'm good on bringing more things in. But I do feel that there is at least one thing within this dynamic that you really want. So I am just saying that maybe you should secure that, okay? Because I don't want you to get into a place where you have to, like, fight for it afterwards, okay? Now, I do feel like for you as well, and having the person as the magician also writing the number of the beloved really, really speaks to me on a deep level in this hermit energy. Because even though there's all this chaos going on, and I'm sure that you have like people who are arguing and fighting over things, and siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever it is, maybe even your grown children, I don't know for sure, but I feel like you, for the first time in like maybe forever, maybe this is just the first time, you have been able to do some healthy detachment. You are not letting yourself get in your feelings about everything, because I think this is not a personal attack on you. This is not something that you should even be internalizing really that much at all anyways, because this is what happens in families. It is not unique. Not every family, but yeah, I feel like often you will hear about when people get older and their kids, start to get involved, that sometimes these things can get kind of messy. So I feel that you really need to be recognized here, and I'm recognizing you, and I would give you a big old hug and hopefully not give you whatever we have going around the house. Because I'm proud of you. I'm super proud of you. It is not easy to let people and they know you real well. They know all your buttons, right? And you know theirs. It is not easy to hold yourself. It is not easy to bite your tongue. It is not easy to say, this is really kind of ridiculous and messed up, and why are we doing this? And likely, in front of the people that might be getting older, which is a whole other part of the dynamic that's like, dude, come on. Like, you need to at least do this, like, privately. Like, do it in the family text chat thing that mom and dad aren't in, right? But for you, it's about maintaining. It's about taking responsibility for your coping mechanisms, your reactions, how you treat people, how you treat yourself, how you choose to exist in this world. And maybe that comes easy to a lot of people, most people, I don't know. I mean, look at the news, I wouldn't say so. Look at Facebook, I wouldn't say so. Even look at YouTube sometimes in the comment sections. I wouldn't always say so. But I will say, life doesn't have to be all of that. In fact, for somebody like me, I have to choose constantly, all day long. Probably, I would say, I don't even know, 150 times a day easily, and I'm not exaggerating. I have ADHD and, the tisms, and CPTSD, including, general anxiety, social anxiety, all the things, right? I'm a mess. My brain's a little, wired like a ball of Christmas lights, right? That have been sitting in the box, tangling themselves up. That's my brain. But I do every day, all day long. I have to decide, and this is where it's sometimes sensitive for me. So I'll share. I might see something that somebody like comments on one of my husband's posts or something. And, a lot of people feel like they know us, and you do know us to some degree. But I have to, if I see something and it's like, it might not even be inappropriate. It's just a nice post. And I'm like, I get that little tinge of like, wow, what is that person? Why are they talking to my husband like that? And I have to decide in that moment, dude, am I going to let this gremlin mind take me over? Like, am I going to go down that rabbit hole? Am I going to, like, blow the next 2 hours tripping and, like, probably, like, in full detective mode? No, I'm not. And I might have to decide that I'm not going to 80 times that day. And it's embarrassing to even say that, but guess what? For some of us, it just be like that. For some of us, we have to decide so many times a day, am I going to get, am I going to get upset? Am I going to say the thing to my, to my brother who has never done anything for my, my mom, and this is an example because I don't have family like that, but, my mom and dad, they never show up for my mom and dad, but here he is, like, showing up thinking he needs all the TVs and, all the dining set and the living room set and all that, right? And it's easy to go nuclear. It's easy to say, this is a hill I'm crawling up on. I'm building my little, my little hammock up here, and you're not going to get me down. This is the hill I die on, right? No. Why? And I know you feel me because I feel you really pulling yourself out of these energies. And I love it because I'm on the same wave. No more unnecessary stress. No more getting in our feelings all the time about stuff that is unproductive. Right? We can get in our feelings about other things. I'm not trying to advocate for not being an emotional person. Be emotional. Please. We need more of it. But we have to do it in a way that is more controlled. Or at least, like, less oppressive to others. Or less influential to other people's will. Right? Their own path, because we're not responsible for any of that. We are not responsible for how people act, behave, the things they choose to do, not do, whatever. It has nothing to do with us, ultimately. I like where you're at, Aquarius. Oh, and we have a heart. So I do feel, and I'm going to be real with you, I feel that you're pulling away from this very kind of volatile place, which, listen, we all have that volcano in us, right? If you truly believe in as above, so below, so within, so without, right? We contain the universe within us. There's a lot of scary stuff in the universe, right? Do we choose to dwell in those scary places is the question. Do we let our shadow, do we let our undeveloped, unrefined, masculine, feminine energies take the wheel? And I'm saying undeveloped or unrefined because they have not been through the integrations and the processes. And we all have these aspects. There are things that make me go buck wild. If you try to, like, follow me too close on the road for too long, ooh, boy. Baby, I'm from Cali. And I know, I will say Cali. Somebody said, if you're really from Cali, you wouldn't call it Cali. Baby, I'm from East Sacramento. I'm from Cali. 916. I'm not going to throw up. I'm not going to say the rest. But, baby, we jump on out. You know what I'm saying? So, but why? Why do I want to dwell in that energy? Because it's unproductive, dude. It's dangerous as well. I don't want to see it. My kid doesn't need to see me in that state. I don't need to get intoxicated on this, like, fake sense of power. Anger. Destruction. No. No, 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 no. So what do? It's sublimation, right? We put it into things, other things. I am angry. I'm feeling frustrated. So what do? I move my body. I move my body. I go for a walk. I take in fresh air. I cut wood. I scream. I scream. I freaking scream from the core of my being. I paint. I write poetry. Whatever it is. Whatever you like to do. Somebody I was just talking to the other day, she was like, dude, I just get in my car and I drive. I just drive. Drive until I'm not mad anymore. Now, we live out in the middle of nowhere. Let me just tell you that. We're not in the city. Don't go mad city driving. Nothing's gonna turn that anger back on again than getting, you go for a nice drive in the city, and then next thing you know, a cyclist is screaming at you, And shout out to the cyclists, by the way. I'm not trying to come down on you, but you all do really get kind of aggro sometimes, which, again, shout out to you. I don't mind it, but it is kind of silly. So we have the heart. We have the dog down here. Here's the other part of this. You, in taking space for yourself, letting yourself kind of fill back up, recharge, maybe taking a little bit of a social break, maybe not answering all of the texts immediately. Maybe, you take a week off from your dance class or spin class or, whatever it is that you do, to pour into yourself. And then I really feel like, and we have this dog over here. We also have a dog up here. I feel that this is going to really lead you to a place where you can have one or two more robust, and that's what it feels like when I'm thinking about this, robust friendships. I feel like it's like it allots you the energy, the headspace, the ability to, you've cleared out all of the noise and junk from your mind, and now you have room to sit across from somebody you love and they love you and you care about each other and look at each other. Maybe you don't like eye contact. I don't love eye contact, but maybe you're looking at the floor and still talking to each other, but you can hear. You can receive them. You can listen. There's not that underlying anxiety that, oh, shoot, when are they going to stop talking? When is this going to be over? I just missed what they said. I'm not going to ask them to repeat themselves again. What can I say next? You know, all of that. And you're just quiet, listening, taking it in. And then when it's your turn to talk, then you talk. And you tell them, you know, the deep things, the thoughts, the feelings, the whatever. And you do it in such a way that is so clear. And I feel like it's like you've squeegeed your third eye, right? And maybe you have, if you know where that comes from. You know, maybe you have squeegeed your third eye. Sometimes we need that kind of plant fungi medicine to help us, right? So, or I guess, I don't know, maybe, I can't remember. Is that one about the synthesized stuff? I don't know. Anyways, irregardless, there is a clarity, there's an openness, and this is leading to that heart space also opening, which is not easy, Aquarius. Not easy for you. Let me amend that. It's easy for you when you feel safe. And probably you are by yourself doing things that you love, that, you know, you're praying, you're playing video games, you're, you know, listening to something that's very moving. Your heart opens easily. But once you introduce the conscious variable, you know, a partner, a friend, a coworker, a child, whatever, somebody is witnessing you. Not unlike we know about, you know, cells and atoms, and they, when witnessed, they behave differently, just like we do. As above, so below, right? So, this time is needed. It is needed. Because I feel like there is a cleansing cycle going on for you. Okay. Now let's just also clean a little bit. Okay. I feel like, you know, just like the spring cleaning, and if you're in the southern hemisphere, then it is the spring. But just like in the spring, we also need a huge, deep fall cleaning or autumn cleaning. So get rid of some stuff. Throw it away. Recycle it. Burn it if it's not toxic. What's the other one? Donate. Find a home for it. If that's too much for you, which I understand, sometimes it is for me too, just put it all in a box, take it to Goodwill or something. Don't, you know, sometimes it's hard to find people in your life, or, you know, like on those like marketplace things where you like have to wait for somebody to meet you. I don't know. It's a lot. Anyways, 78. For somebody like me who has, you know, like I mentioned early, neurodivergent stuff going on, that is a procrastination, like immediately, like... Okay, so we have number 23. I'm actually really proud of myself. I just gave a huge box of shoes to one of Edie's friends' mom. She's my friend. I don't know why I said it like that. She's my friend. The mom is my friend. 55. And she's wonderful, by the way, if you're listening. And I was like, I feel so good about actually going through with getting these things to where they need, you know, and we usually just donate stuff. I know this other lady who sends stuff to, I feel like it's Zambia. I can't remember exactly which country, somewhere in Africa that she has family she sends it back to, and I think I don't know what they do with it. Hopefully they sell it. I hope she's making money, honestly. But yeah, you know, I don't know, but that's usually what I do, because she'll just take everything, right? I don't have to like piece it out. Okay, here we go. Gratitude. These are also the Wild Offering Oracle cards. I know I seem probably so manic right now. My day has been so out of routine. It's a Tuesday. My daughter should be at school. She's super sick. My husband's super sick. I've been running around all day, cleaning and cooking and, waiting on them and, all that stuff. So I am wound up. If you have made it this far, thank you. I am grateful for you. Okay? I love you. Find just one thing that you feel grateful for right now and let that gratitude pour through your body. It's a healing balm, like the warmth of the sun. I have learned in the last couple years that not only does like changing your temperature, like if you're upset, you're having, just like a rage moment, going in and taking a cooler shower to kind of bring your body temperature down almost always will help interrupt that cycle, of the emotional cycle that you're going through. But also for me, going out and sitting in the sun for like, I'd like to be out there for like an hour. And I do have to say, wear sunblock, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend. I don't wear it. I put it on my daughter. I don't know. I don't know what to feel about it. I don't know. I'm not going to advocate for either. But I like to sit in the sun. Yes, I still do that. I know we're not supposed to, but I love the sun. I like to be in it. And just sitting there for like 5 minutes when I'm feeling like lethargic, I just don't, I can't get going. I'm feeling like, okay, now I'm feeling big sad. Big sad is knocking at the edges of my consciousness. I go sit in the sun. Anxiety too. If it's too much in the house, it's loud, there's stuff everywhere, I'm trying to clean, I'm getting pulled in all directions, one mess after another. I go sit in the sun for a few minutes. It helps. It brings me back down to earth. I don't always have time to go take a shower. So I think it's a beautiful place to be. And it does feel nice. Doesn't gratitude, it has that same kind of like filling, restorative energy. Well, anyways, you know what, Aquarius, I love you. Thank you for letting me ramble with you. And I hope all is well. Please send some prayers this way. I would love to pray for you. If you have anything that you want to share, you can put it in the comments. If you have like, something that's more personal, you don't want to talk about it in, the main comment stuff here, you can always email me. Again, it's ulaishere@gmail.com. At gmail.com. Yes. And yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I want to hear from you. I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk soon. Good night.